With something in the energy sector, Northland Power, NPI and the TSX, they do wind turbines. We had the CEO on yesterday, and they had a lack of wind, which led to a bad quarter for them. But you like this company moving forward. What do you like about Northland Power?
Yeah, one thing I would push back on, even though I like the company, is this lack of wind doesn't seem to be necessarily reverting to the mean. That seems to be an ongoing issue. So I do have questions about that. But a bigger picture, they've got some larger projects. They just finished the battery storage project, Oneida in Ontario, ahead of time and under budget. This is what this company does, is they are good builders of projects. And they have 2 other projects ongoing. Taiwan, much maligned in the investment community, but has achieved first power. Turbines are being installed, on time and on budget. They are starting to install turbines in offshore Poland and the Baltic Sea project as well. So as those projects come on, there's a lot of cash flow, and the last time the management team, which we didn't do a great job with that cash flow. We think that this management team is much better, so in the meantime we collect 5.5–6%. Stock's down from yesterday, so it's even a better top pick today than it was before the earnings call, and I think you're clipping a nice yield to be patient while some very near-term and achievable catalysts are coming in the next sort of 2 to 3 years.
Yep, recommended it a few times. Again, you're getting a 5.5% dividend yield to wait. Having that long-term focus has really helped. They had 3 large projects. One of them is actually complete, under budget, earlier this year, the Oneida battery storage. They have 2 other large-scale offshore wind projects. Hai Long in Taiwan reached first power, which is a huge milestone. So now they just have to copy and paste those turbines going forward. Baltic Energy, they're still installing their turbines right now. So those are both on time and on budget. The Northland Power has a great history of executing things. They leave a lot of buffers for their projects. So I think as these projects get closer to their completion date, that project's risk gets de-risked, and then the stock price goes up. I think we're starting to see it now in that stock price, but I still think it's early enough to get in before those cash flows come online in 2027. When those projects are all complete, their cash flows should increase by about 45%. So huge, and I just don't think that's being factored into the stock price today.
Okay, so you're saying definitely buy this now.
I think so. Even though it's had about a 20% run this year, I still think there's an opportunity to get in, because analysts, target prices are only for the next 12 months. But if you look beyond that, we're seeing a lot of growth ahead.
Okay. Rebecca, thanks so much for coming in. Really appreciate your input.
Thank you for having me.
Northland Power, NPI and the TSX, recommended at $20.12 a year ago, now up to $24.77. So 23% upside, a total return of 29%. Northland Power operates both in Canada and the U.S. Is this a stock you've held on to?
So not really in the U.S., more so globally. So more so Europe, and they've got a project they're building in Taiwan right now. So we still own this company. We like it. It's been actually a pretty good year for renewable stocks. If you look at Northland Power and Brookfield Renewable, they're both up significantly year over year. You wouldn't have thought that with Trump coming in and I think there was some worries kind of front end loaded on that the stocks, there was a bit of a shoot first, ask questions later. But for this company specifically, they're bringing on projects over the next couple of years. I mentioned the one in Taiwan. There's also one in the Baltic Sea offshore Poland.
These are wind turbines?
Offshore wind projects. They're substantially complete, receiving pre-completion revenues, which helps to de-risk the project. And so as those come on, the cash flow starts to come in and people put it in their models and they go, hey, this thing's worth more than it was a few months ago. Whereas we were kind of looking at it going, this is a company that's done a good job building things. That's what they're good at. The hard part they've had is some of the stuff they've acquired, but when they're actually building stuff, they're good at it. And so we had faith that they would be able to deliver these projects, and it appears that they are.
Got it. Okay. Northland Power on the TSX, NPI, ticker there, recommended at $20.39 last year. Now at $25.03, so 23% upside, a 28% total return move up. They're in the energy space, of course, and energy is getting a lot of attention these days because of AI build out. Do you like it? Have you put more money into this one?
Yeah, certainly we still hold Northland Power. I always like to come out with a dividend stock pick when we do the top picks. And so this is the dividend stock that I was recommending last year. And it really was, it was, again, a company that historically has been a very strong operator that had a few issues on some of their new projects that they were building. They also, their CEO retired, their CFO, I think, also moved to a different firm. So they were really a company that had some operational issues, had no permanent senior leadership. And it was just kind of left for dead looking back 12 months. But we had seen, the strong growth. Other power names had the strong outlook for a need for power generation globally, and thought that it was just a good opportunity to buy a company that has assets around the world that seems to be, again, in just a little bit of a rough patch. And since then, they've been delivering flawlessly on their growth projects. They have a great new CEO who's actually was a C&Q board member who's come on to lead the company. And yeah, we continue to hold it, and we think they have Investor Day coming up in November, and so we'll see what they say then and reevaluate.
All right.